the beginning, there was nothing. And then there was the Drunken Peasants Podcast.
I gotta get away with this.
No! Say, man, you got a joint? No, not on me, man.
I don't have facts to back this up.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
That's true. Sometimes I cry.
Oh!
Lick my butthole, he laughed.
From the strangest corners of the internet, here to bring you opinions of the world from an altered perspective. Here are your hosts, the Drunken Peasants.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Drunken Peasants Podcast. This is episode 1197. Doing it live. We got Liquid Skelly, our special Patreon guest tonight.
Whoop, whoop.
And we're going to be going over this this interview that Andrew Tate did with the BBC. And I don't know the story behind it, but when we watch it, it doesn't seem like it's the BBC's version of it. It's almost like Andrew Tate might have had a camera and mic in the room because the sound is not at a professional level like the BBC would. Or there's only one camera angle. There's not multiple camera angles like the BBC would shoot an interview. So it seems like maybe it came from somewhere else and was released before the fact, but we'll check it out.
Al-Qaeda?
So everyone, please like the stream if you haven't already. Help us out with that. Also, Patreon post show happening immediately after this episode. It's the first in a 3-part series that we're gonna do. Boogie 2988 decided it would be a good idea to talk to Turkey Tom for an hour and a half.
Yes.
Uh-oh. And I wanted to go over that in the post show, the $10 post show. So anyone who wants to watch, sign up for our Patreon, $10 or more. We're going to split it into thirds and kind of just react to it and see. It's really interesting. They got along a lot better than I thought they would. We had Turkey Tom on DP a long time ago before he really hit it big. Like, he's pretty huge now. So that should be interesting. Also, pre-show. Don't miss the pre-shows that we do. You can get those by subscribing to any of the audio platforms that the show is distributed on. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, any of those places. Check us out there and listen to like the first, 10, 20 minutes of the audio version. There's usually a little bit of extra free content that you can only find right there. So you should check that out. And I keep mentioning it because it works.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So, let's just get right into this. So I guess it's his first interview with the BBC, the British Broadcasting Company, by the way, not the other thing that you were thinking.
Not the other thing that he's also. Oh, well, no, he'd be terrified of that, wouldn't he? You gave him the circles?
I don't know. He said he definitely would rather have a hot woman with a BBC than an ugly woman with a bajayjay.
He did say that. Yeah. So, you guys can give me your take on how you think this was recorded. I think this is leaked. Let's see here.
So, guys, Andrew.
So yeah, the guy's channel I got this from.
They've been begging Andrew Tate for an interview for the last 6 months. Begging. They sent a list of sanitized questions and promised a fair and balanced interview. Tate finally agreed to their begging, and they ignored all of their promised questions and attempted a hit job. This is what happened.
Yeah. So I think this was recorded by Tate and released on his own. Yeah, because you can see them doing like the slate, basically, like the and how
they wanted to spin it.
The sound isn't that good. It sounds like the mic is kind of far away from them, and you only get this angle.
Andrew Tate.
You've agreed to do an interview with the BBC today.
Oh yeah, this is terrible audio.
The material is going to be published on television, on radio, online.
Perfect.
We are doing an interview with you because you're facing some very serious allegations.
Correct.
Rape, human trafficking.
Yep.
And also because there's a great deal of concern about the things you say and the impact that they have on young people, on women.
I don't think the concerns about the things I say, I think...
What do you think the average age of Andrew Tate's audience is? Because this is brought up a lot, and I honestly don't know, but she makes it sound like he's very seriously affecting, like, school-age people, you know?
There are some school-age people that follow him, and there are some...
Some, but I'm wondering to what extent. Like what percentage would you...
really popular.
What percentage...
Gen Z.
Okay.
The median is probably like 19 years old.
For the level of influence I have and the reach I have, I would argue that a lot of the things that are already out there inside of the legacy media and the matrix as a whole are far more damaging than the things I say.
It's the concern about the influence you have being a harmful influence, but let's start with the allegations.
Not necessarily a harmful influence. The fact that I'm massively influential over the youth, and I understand that.
Well, he claims to be.
But it's my influence as a whole which people are afraid of, not necessarily...
But how youthful are these youth that he is speaking of?
When they had the guys go and parade for him when he was locked up, I think they were parading in Greece. They didn't look to be kids, you know?
Have you raped anybody?
That's actually the saddest part is that, you know, it's one thing if it's kids. Kids are idiots, right? They're going to do stuff. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to be influenced by people they're looking for a father figure, you know, shit like that. But like what scares me is like the more the 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds being kind of, you know, I'll say young adult because they actually start getting like actual,
but
you know.
The thing is that like usually the younger you are, the more susceptible you are to indoctrination, and those kids that, you know, are indoctrinated younger become 20-year-olds before you know it.
Adults are idiots too, and if anybody is to blame for Andrew Tate, it's Marvel for focusing on young women superheroes.
Bugatti.
It's turned all the boys off and turned them into looking for another superhero, and they chose Andrew Tate.
Absolutely not.
Bugatti.
Have you trafficked anybody?
Absolutely not.
Exploited any women for
Absolutely
money?
not.
But you have admitted using emotional manipulation to get women to work in the webcam industry for you.
No. Firstly, let's begin let's start at the beginning. I'm facing charges. The first one you mentioned.
And his lawyers are there too. You can hear them being like, he's already answered that. Like, she'll ask the same question a few times, trying to get a different answer, trying to trip him up,
of course,
to get him to like contradict himself or something. And they pipe up, like right away.
I wonder why he can't just answer the questions on his own.
Well, he says it's because he doesn't want to incriminate himself.
One's already been thrown out by a judge because there's no evidence of it. Secondly, it's very difficult for me to sit here and have a very frank and honest conversation with you while we're in the...
Also, is there a jade gorilla on his desk back there?
It might be jade. There's definitely a gorilla.
He's got a jade gorilla statue.
Territory of Romania about a legal case that's going on within Romania. I have to protect myself. I've agreed to do an interview with you, and I want to be as honest with you as possible.
By the way, he probably doesn't have brain AIDS. Remember, CTE, it's a thing.
I mean, he's been kicked in the head, no doubt. I'm wondering how many knockouts he's taken. I haven't really looked at it. I know he was like a world champion to some degree, but I'm wondering how many knockouts he's taken, like head trauma.
I can't incriminate myself in any way, and I have to be very careful with what I talk about.
There are no charges yet.
Correct. There are no charges.
There
are no charges, and I've agreed to speak to you, but I have to be as honest and frank as I can while also protecting myself and following my legal counsel.
So let's talk about what you've said yourself then. You have said on the website, for your original website for the Hustlers University, that you emotionally manipulated women to fall in love with you so that you could get them working in the sex industry for your financial gain.
As I said, I have to be very careful with what I say, but let's put it this way. No women are coming out against me and accusing me of doing it.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
Yes, they did.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
Isn't this a great debate?
No, they're not.
Yes,
I know you are, but what am I?
Yeah.
Who?
Now, see, this is where, again, BBC, I guess it's just legacy media, because one thing I would absolutely love is what's his name?
Andrew Tate?
Joe Rogan.
Oh.
Joe Rogan asked, hey, Jamie, bring up that clip where he says, because there are clips of him everywhere of him just bragging about how he has tricked and manipulated women into working in his cam industry, and that he was a cam pimp, and that you can learn how to do that too. So
they'll probably edit it together when it goes to air on BBC.
Testimony from the current investigation.
Either that, or just say, "Hey, that's just an act." Right, that's probably the only. That's probably the defense they all use now, right? That's all just an act.
Well, he'll address that because she definitely brings that up here.
Which I cannot discuss, which I know intimately and you don't. I can tell you right now that
I like how he's like, I know the trial intimately and you don't, but I can't talk about it right now about what I know so intimately about. It's like, okay,
the women who are
like, why even say that part of it? Just be like, I can't talk about it because it's a pending trial. I can't speak on pending legal issues.
In this case file, there are 2 American women who have been caught already admitting they're lying, and then nobody else is accusing me of anything.
To begin with, it's very common.
Oh yeah, it was strategic. They got a woman to interview him, right? They had to get a woman to interview him.
I mean, it definitely serves a purpose, whether it was intentional or not.
Every time a guy would interview him, they would just start smoking cigars and talking about grabbing women by the pussy.
They'd put their like leisure suits on. And, yeah.
Like this, that the alleged victims do not always see themselves as victims.
Well, that's very interesting. It's actually extremely interesting because if I was a matrix-controlled organization and my goal was to slander somebody and try and destroy
his hair is so patchy. It's not normal male pattern baldness, which normally like you either get it on the back of the head or in the front, or you get it like both. But he's got like weird, like random bald patches, and that doesn't normally. I wonder what is causing his. Do you notice how there's just like a big patch out of the side?
I think he was malnutritioned early on in his life.
Well, I mean, he just spent like a couple months in jail.
Yeah.
A Romanian jail too, not a normal jail.
Telling me that they've chosen a crime, which one is heinous, of course, because it damages the person's credibility, and 2, you're saying that even if everyone else involved.
The crime is heinous because, of course, it damages his credibility. Of course.
And everyone's sitting there saying, no, nobody's hurt anybody. We like Andrew. We've all worked together. We're friends, etc.
That's not what everybody's saying.
No.
Let me read you some of the testimony from the current investigation.
Can I finish this?
One of the witnesses said...
Can I finish this?
You're not answering the question.
Can I finish? Can I finish? Can I finish? Can I finish? Will you let me finish? I'm not finished. Okay, I'm finished.
You're not answering the question.
I am answering the question. You're saying...
I'm not fired. I quit.
You're saying the people who are involved in this, even if they say they're not victims, that they're still going to try and attack me and pretend they're victims.
Treated as victims by the case that's ongoing. And not all of them are saying that. One of the
alleged victims
says
we can't.
Yeah, you hear the lawyers like, nope, can't talk about
go
that.
into the case. The case is open and active.
Well, let's just be clear that not all of the witnesses in the case are behaving in the way you describe, and even those that are, it doesn't bar them from being treated as victims by the prosecution by the case.
We have an open criminal investigation. I am absolutely not really sure I'll be found innocent. I know the case better than you. I know it intimately and you don't.
I just can't talk about it.
I have seen all the criminal files and the evidence against me and you haven't.
I can't talk about that either, but I'll mention it.
I know the truth of what happened.
I'll just stress just how much I'm the alpha and the biggest person in the room here, but I can't say anything about it.
Like, I don't blame him for not talking about it, like when he's possibly in trouble for it, but why even do this interview? It just seems dumb.
He's going to try and get as much of his message out as possible, but he's already referenced that this is a matrix-driven media.
Yes.
So it's like, where is he really going to go here? Just get a couple of clips to give to his own fan base? Oh, yeah, I called it the Matrix. He won again. Get him, Neo Tate.
Is that dogs barking I hear? Man, I wonder why all the dogs are suddenly upset and barking.
Did you hear
Must be the Matrix.
I don't know. It must be the Matrix.
And I'm telling you absolutely not really, I've never hurt anybody, that the case that's been put against me is completely and utterly fabricated, and I'm never going to be found guilty of anything. And it's very difficult for me to answer your in-depth questions because we're sitting here inside of the territory of Romania.
I mean, you also said you went to Romania so you can get away with breaking laws that you couldn't break in the U.S., and then you got in trouble for doing just that. So I don't really trust your perception of the future.
Into the Romanian legal system. And I'm not going to incriminate myself because you're trying to prod me. You are wrong, and we're going to have to accept that for now and talk about something else.
Let me read you then what you have said about what you have
See,
done.
and the other thing is, it's his ego and his the fact that he has to be always the most performative man and big and masculine in the room that's preventing him from shutting the fuck up, because he can't just say no, I won't answer that. No, he can't let that happen. And if this were again, if it weren't for the fact I'm guessing that's illegal. No, Andrew Tate is not a dumb man. I'm not saying that he is dumb, and that's actually what scares me.
Are you calling him dumb, Skelly?
Oh my God! Cancel.
You have said,
but
my job was.
But if only he were dumb. But now he would be a lot more posturing and saying a lot more shit if it weren't for the fact that his legal counsel is right there.
To meet a girl, go on a few dates, sleep with her, get her to fall in love with me to the point where she'd do anything I say, and then get her on webcam so we could become rich together.
I don't think that's what I personally said. I think that's
exactly what
no,
you said.
That's no. I've never said that. That's something that you found on the internet. Doesn't mean I've said it. And again, once again, if any female on the planet has a problem with me, I strongly recommend her to go to the police and try and pursue me for criminal charges. It's actually very interesting that I
like how he's
one of the most famous people in the world who's been vilified by the legacy media and places all over the internet, while everyone has attacked me from every single angle, while federal agencies from multiple countries have called over 2,000 women who know me. We stand here with 0 new accusations since my arrest. 0. If you took any...
Is that because you were in jail the whole time?
Well, he's saying anybody from the past could come out right now, too, and join the allegations, and nobody is.
Since the arrest.
Any man of substantial wealth, and you called 2,000 women who knew him, he'd find an ex-girlfriend is upset, somebody who wants money who's upset. They called 2,000 people who knew me and could not find a single woman to make a new complaint. The only complaints they have against me are the initial complaints.
No, she's just an angry ex. It's fine.
And that's where it stands. So I'm not going to sit here and allow you to pretend that I'm some kind of evil predator, when actually I'd argue the fact that people who've been investigated to the level I've been investigated to, if you were to take the average man on the street and investigate his entire life for 14 months, call everyone who's ever known him, and vilify him in the media, and encourage people to come forward for money, and you try to contact every ex-girlfriend that's ever had.
Would come forward and accuse those people of rape and accuse those
I think that you would have a lot more. I think you would have a lot more flack than I've got.
Andrew Tate is no longer speaking with a British accent.
He is a little bit. There's a little tinge of it there. I mean, I believe he was born in the U.S. and spent a lot of his younger years there, and then moved to the U.K. So he has kind of a weird, muddled, in-betweener accent. It's not quite British and it's not quite American. It's a weird meld of the two.
I'm actually such a nice
Greeny
person.
O'Days sent a $5 super chat and asked if we are going to watch Fresh and Fit talk about ABBA and preach and call them racist things.
I don't know who ABBA and Preach are, and I barely know who Fresh and Fit are, and I've avoided watching their stuff here. I don't know.
I haven't seen that yet, though, but it's probably pretty trashy. I think Fresh and Fit have, or at least Fresh, Fit. Fit has been pretty regularly racist against other black people multiple times before, too.
The BBC has spoken to somebody since your arrest who says exactly those things, that with you it's all manipulation, there's an ulterior motive.
Is this Sophie?
Everything
Is this Sophie? Oh, it's Sophie, the fake name, no face.
He's going to claim this person. So he's like, oh, was it Sophie that made these claims? And she's like, yeah. And now he's going to claim this person is just like a fabricated person that
Sophie doesn't exist?
Right.
No, the story that was invented.
Yeah, I mean, if you dig into my life, if you called everyone I've ever known in the past 18 months, the one thing that you would not find is someone saying that I am, in fact, doing this.
And wanting him to be happy that I was just...
But at the same time,
yeah, okay, do whatever
so,
you want.
And what if she accused me of a crime, this imaginary Sophie?
They did, and literally he just said why a woman wouldn't come up and talk against them. Because immediately she's attacked. Immediately her character is attacked.
Any woman that has talked bad about me in the last 18 months doesn't exist.
Making the point that there is...
Has she accused me of a crime?
Emotional or psychological manipulation.
I've asked you a question, and I've allowed you into my house.
I'm asking you a question.
Correct, but you're not the boss here, because I've allowed you into my house.
Oh, big boss.
Correctly, and I'm telling you.
You get to decide the answer.
Again, he has to be the alpha.
We're equal here. I've allowed you into
This
my
is
house.
just
You don't
performing it for his audience. and
come
for
here
his
with a
ego.
position of authority. I'm doing you the favor as legacy media, giving you relevance by speaking to you. And I'm telling you now, this Sophie, which the BBC has invented, which there's no face of, nobody knows who she is.
The BBC did not invent.
Of course not. And because you never invent anything. And she's not filed criminal charges against me. What are we talking about here? What is she saying?
Talking about emotional manipulation into the sex industry for your financial gain.
Absolute garbage. She has not filed criminal. This person, if they exist, has not filed criminal charges against me.
Is he conceding that they might exist? Because first he said they didn't, and I was like, "But if they exist,
if they haven't filed charges, what's the documentation to prove they exist?" It's like maybe he doesn't remember brutally destroying someone named Sophie.
I welcome anybody who believes I've harmed them, male or female, any point in the past, to file criminal charges
I'm not going to
against me.
incriminate any further.
I'll fight them. I know who I am, and I know what I've done, and I know the truth, and I know that I'll be found innocent of this attack. The reason I'm being attacked is because of my massive influence, not because I've ever hurt anybody. And for you to sit here and say that everybody around you is saying you're innocent, but that doesn't matter because the state will say they're victims, and they're just going to grab everybody you know and call everybody victims, even if they say they're not, and try and put you in jail. You are describing a matrix attack. You're not describing...
I've never heard this term.
This is a matrix attack.
What is a matrix attack?
One of the things he tells his audience is that the matrix is the mainstream news, the government, and the authority surrounding everything is the matrix, and you have to live outside of the matrix. You have to live outside of the constraints of mainstream media, because they will come in and they will take you down if you test them. He's just like a LARPing as like Neo, like he's breaking through some sort of system.
I see.
Yep. And insert echo quotes where necessary.
Human trafficking.
So he's a big fan of the Matrix.
He's saying he is Neo, and he's red pilling these guys. He's breaking them out of their...
Aren't the people who like created the Matrix like a pair of trans sisters?
Yeah.
Yes.
Does he know that?
Well, they were not sisters when they made the first Matrix, and a lot of people think that's the only good Matrix. So maybe the trans sisters ruined the Matrix.
Describing women who are going to
put that in the archive.
To accuse you of rape and human trafficking.
We will see what
put that in the archive.
We will see what women go to court at
Can
the
I
end of this
finish,
trial.
please?
We'll see which women go
Can
to
I
court.
finish, please?
We'll see which women go to court.
I'm describing women who are going to court to accuse you of rape and human
Sophie
trafficking.
hasn't gone to court. Sophie doesn't exist.
And I'm describing women who have spoken to the BBC at length.
Sophie doesn't exist.
And other media organisations about what they say is emotional manipulation and coercion. And I'm quoting back to you your own words where you describe...
They're not my words.
Coercion.
They're not my words.
They're words you found on the internet, and Sophie doesn't exist.
On your
so let's move on to the
website,
next
in
subject.
your voice.
This ghost Sophie is stirring up a lot of trouble.
I know. Tell me about it.
No, I think I'll stick on this one for a minute. So there's other places in that same website where you say you get girls to fall in love with you, and they do it because they love you, because they want to do what you say. Convincing women to take part in some kind of business arrangement doesn't work long term because they're emotional. You've got to get them to fall in love with you.
Once
That's
again,
coercion, that's emotional manipulation, that's abuse.
what you've found are clips from the internet, some text from the internet, and you're going to sit here and tell me that that's the reason.
Your website, your words.
It's not my website.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Check my website. Next.
My website has
right
changed
now.
since then, dummy.
Next?
I've taken that page down, dummy.
It's the website.
My lawyers
taken
have
down, and I-
confirmed that is no longer there on my website.
Yeah, I think she's like, oh, you took it down. Hold on. Let's see.
Your website, your words.
It's not my website.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Check my website. Next.
My website forwards to Taco John's.
It's the website you've taken down, and I wonder why those comments have been taken down.
No website's been taken down. My website is the same. It's been the same for a very long time.
The comments on this website, on the original website, have been taken down, and I wonder why.
You are accusing me. I'm guessing. What you're trying to say is you're accusing me, and you're trying to say that I'm guilty of the things I'm accused of, and I'm emotionally manipulating people.
I'm saying that you have said you emotionally manipulated people here for your own financial gain.
No, absolutely not.
And I'm asking you about that.
Absolutely not is the answer. I look forward to the end of this trial. I look forward to clearing my name. I look forward to the BBC and the legacy media having to say not guilty and having to tell the truth. As I've said before, the only other person who's been found, despite absolute rigorous, destructive levels of investigation and prodding into my life is this imaginary Sophie by the BBC who doesn't exist. And if you were to find any single other man on earth and try and analyze his life forensically to the level they've done mine, you would find genuine damage to people. I don't hurt people.
It's not just...
Thousands of women have come out in my defense. Thousands of women have come out in my defense, and you've not mentioned that. Thousands of women come out in my defense.
Because the problem is when women accuse you of serious crimes.
Okay,
and emotional
but
manipulation.
let's agree that
That's
thousands
the
of women...
problem.
let's agree that
It's
thousands...
not the problem that some people say you
Why
haven't
is she
done.
not
It's the
asking him if those thousands of women have been brainwashed into supporting him? Are they all brainwashed?
I found I'm trying to find anything that like shows the identity of Sophie.
Phantom Sophie.
Yeah, I don't know. I found articles that mention a woman named Sophie, but I haven't seen like a photo of her or anything like that. So I'm
That's
not
what
sure.
was an alias.
problem that some people say you have.
Thousands of women come out in my defense, and as we stand right now, we have an open criminal investigation. The people who are involved in the criminal investigation are saying that we're not victims of anything. Andrew's fine, he's never hurt us. You're saying, no, I have the opposite to that. I have to counter that. I have
Denying
someone called
someone's
Sophie.
existence, changing his website, and claiming it's always been that way. Has he been reading 1984 cause this is textbook Big Brother?
I think he just watched Wonder Woman 1984.
No.
Not as good as Adrian Palicki's Wonder Woman.
Classic.
Not even close.
All he does is watch The Matrix on repeat.
We watched the failed 2011 Wonder Woman pilot episode as part of our Patreon thing last night. And
oh, really?
Yeah. And we didn't expect Pedro Pascal to randomly pop up in it. So that the Mandalorian, he was in it.
He was also in Wonder Woman 1984.
Which is weird.
I don't know if the character carried over from the pilot.
I don't know, but it was pretty weird. But everyone agreed that the 2011 Wonder Woman costume is probably the best Wonder Woman costume ever.
It was
I'll have
pretty
to look
good.
this up.
It was pretty good on the person wearing it, at least.
With no face, a fake name, who we've invented, and she's not accusing you of anything criminal. So I don't see the whole point
You
you're trying to
say
make
you
here.
manipulate women, they say you manipulate women. Why wouldn't people think you do?
I'm not here. Do you think I'm manipulating you?
I'm asking you about the testimony you've...
Do you think I'm manipulating? It's like a manipulative question, too.
Do you think I'm manipulating you? Because I am.
given on your website and the testimony
No,
women have given
you've
about
printed
it.
something off that you found on Reddit, and you're going to sit here and say that that makes me a bad person. I'm saying that you should know better as a journalist and do some proper journalism. Let's investigate the fact that
I
thousands...
think you should answer my questions
I am.
properly.
I am. I already have, and we should move on. She's just trying to start an argument.
It's
It's like a weird therapy session.
She's
or
trying to
something.
start an argument, lawyers.
Yeah.
Cut in, please.
Yeah. I just noticed that giant monitor in the background is security cam footage of like the outside of his house, basically. It looks like even the street, unless that's his driveway. But he might have one just mounted.
There's definitely probably the street there.
Yeah, like the street in front of his house.
not only about the criminal allegations. It's a much bigger issue. You've got
Happy Pride
children's
and
organisations
happy
in the UK,
trans
you've got
rights
rape
and
organisations
happy
in the UK, you've got the
June,
police naming
everything, everybody.
you by name as someone who has a harmful influence on children and on women in the UK and elsewhere because of the things you say, because of the way you present gender relations, the way you say men should treat women.
That's very upsetting. And the reason that's very upsetting is because I know that's not true. I'm genuinely a good person. I believe my impact on the world is positive. In
He's
fact-
genuinely a good person. Why doesn't she ask him the hard questions like, is he genuinely a good person?
Yeah.
I know. Tell me about it.
So you're genuinely a good person, right?
Read the comment section of nearly any video I post, especially by the legacy media. 95% of the population agree with me. Most people know that the things I say are positive. Legacy media as a whole has lost all its credibility in the last 3 to 4 years. Nobody believes it. And it's a shame, it's a massive shame that the BBC come here and try and push and purport this idea that I'm a dangerous person.
I'm putting my words to you.
I'm anti-drugs. I've never pushed drugs or any, I'm anti-drugs, I'm anti-violence.
Maybe he should start taking drugs.
Oh, I'm sure he has taken drugs.
He's just said he's anti-drugs.
He's anti-drugs.
So what I'm saying is, like, you know, maybe that would fix him. Just take some drugs.
Emotional manipulation is a hell of a drug.
The UK is facing a knife crime epidemic, and they're going to see
a knife crime epidemic.
Oh my God. Not the knives.
Oh no.
They're going to sit here and say that I'm the most dangerous man in the UK.
Well, you're in Romania, so you're safe from that. Why are you worried?
You said you're the most dangerous man in the world.
I've said I'm the most dangerous man in the world.
You've also said that a woman's intimate parts belong to her male partner. I'm glad you find that funny.
I find it funny that you're sitting here saying that I've said I'm the most dangerous man in the world, and you believe that's... When did I say that?
I'm asking if you believe it.
No, you said you're the most dangerous man in the world.
She did say that.
Is that some kind of proof that I'm dangerous? Am I Dr. Evil now? I'm telling you that it's very upsetting that you're going to sit here and that certain organizations in the world are going to try and pretend that I'm the biggest force of evil on earth when I'm genuinely a force for good.
You have said.
I'm genuinely a force for good.
He's a force for good to himself. Until now, until he went to jail, basically.
And the reason they're doing this is because of the massive influence I have over the youth, and they don't like that I'm telling the youth to think outside of the matrix and ignore things like the BBC, which come here with loaded questions and false narratives and try and paint innocent people as guilty.
You've said women's intimate parts belong to their male partner.
I said that if a woman marries a man, she takes his last name and traditionally the man gives her away. I've been pushing traditional religious beliefs because I'm a religious man. And traditional beliefs in regards to marriage.
I hate how we give that a pass. It's like, oh, okay, so you're stupid because you're religious. Okay, well that's perfectly acceptable. It's like, no.
Oh yeah, your misogyny is fine as long as it's just deeply rooted in your religious values.
It's not emotional manipulation, it's religious indoctrination.
Oh, that makes it okay. Because God,
which everybody accepted 10 to 15 years ago.
So what,
that's not
the real challenge is being an atheist and having a woman give her body parts to you. That's the hard part.
Crazy conspiracy theory. If you're going to sit here and say that me believing a woman should take a man's last name in marriage makes me the most dangerous man in the world, then you're just going to lose even more credibility than the BBC's already lost in the last 4 to 5 years. If that's your point, if that's your narrative you want to push,
say that
good
men
luck.
should be able to sleep with a lot of women outside marriage. That doesn't sound very religious or very conservative.
That's not what I said they should be able to. I said a lot of high-value men, a lot of rich men do it. And then we discussed at length on podcasts why rich men do it. And we also discussed why women decide to be unfaithful. It's not a gendered argument. We discussed unfaithfulness.
No, it is a gendered argument because go into detail about the reason why you think women usually cheat on their partners versus men cheating on their partners.
What are the reasons
and whether or not it's acceptable or allowable
for men, and what are the reasons motivations for women? Because you have no time to actually watch my content. Because you have no time to actually watch my content at length.
All right, yeah, he's doing the I'm louder thing. I'm louder, so I win.
Understand what I'm saying.
Again,
you just
acting like a fucking child because when he's ever pushed and he's not allowed to control their narrative and it isn't his podcast, he acts like a fucking child and he is stomping his feet and saying, no, why are you keep pushing this? Why are you dare saying that? Why are you not doing this? Why? Fatherless behavior
provided to you on a piece of paper.
Times doesn't make it true.
No, completely. You don't have a clue what I say or what I talk about. You never watch my content. You have small pieces of paper, small clips on a piece of paper, and you're trying to pretend I've said evil things. And then you're going to say I'm the most dangerous man in the world, which is truly laughable.
You said that, not me.
Okay. Do you believe I'm the most dangerous man in the world, Lucy?
I'm not answering your questions.
Well, then we need to change the dynamic of this interview because, and I'll make this clear, I allowed you into my home. I'm doing you a favor, giving you the first interview I'm giving to the public. You don't come here with a position of authority. You're not the police. I don't respect the BBC. I don't know you. You do not come here with a position of authority over me. We are equals. We are people. We're citizens of the world, and we sit here as equals. And I see you as my equal, and if you ask me questions, I can ask you questions back. For you to come here and sit down and pretend you're the Gestapo and that you don't have to answer my questions is disingenuous because
you see how he's leaning forward too. It's an intimidation tactic. So the raising of the volume of the voice, and then the severe eye, look at his eyes, he's staring daggers into her eyes, and he's leaning forward.
I do all the same stuff too when I'm on a first date.
I don't owe you anything.
Asking questions and you answer.
But I don't owe
however you want.
This is a conversation.
Tantrum Tate.
And I don't owe you any
authority
over me. So let's make that clear. And that doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman or from the BBC or the CNN. I'm here to answer your questions and be honest with you and do you a favor.
Great.
And I'm doing you a favor. But you come here with loaded questions. You're trying to paint a narrative of me which is negative.
I'm asking you about things you've said that people are concerned about.
And that's fine. But you're not going to sit here and say you don't answer my questions because you're not above me. Absolutely.
This is not supposed to be a third degree.
He has his backup in the room with him there.
Yeah, the lawyers are like, this is supposed to be a conversation. This is not a third degree. This is not a third degree. Settle down on Andrew, please. Please leave little Andrew Tate alone. All he wants to do is play chess and abuse women.
If you answered the question.
I've answered every question so far.
Let me ask you another question.
Sure.
You have said that a woman's intimate parts belong to her male partner, and if she goes on OnlyFans, he is entitled to a cut of her income.
You are extremely.
Straight
it's actually
up
very.
sloppy energy. 0 out of 10. Not a sweet boy.
He's not a
Billy
sweet
and
boy.
Ben, 10 out of 10. Sweet boys. Would, respectfully and with consent, smash.
Yes, 10 out of 10. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very confusing to me why you're going to sit here, take long format podcasts I've done, which are 3 or 4 hours long, in context where I've sat with OnlyFans girls, 10 or 15 OnlyFans girls, where we've been joking back and forth, ignore every comment and satirical comment and sarcastic comment that the females have made, and then come along and say, you said this, and you're the most evil man in the world. I don't know if you understand what sarcasm is. I don't know if you understand what sarcasm is. I don't know if you understand what context is. I don't know if you understand what...
He's pulling a Jared, basically. Like, I was just being edgy, bro.
Well, I mean, maybe he was, but...
I mean, it turned out, though, that it was kind of going on, right?
What, the...
Like the whole, like, convince a girl to fall in love with you and then make her a cam model.
And we'll see if the charges stick or not.
Well, I mean... I don't know if that necessarily was a crime in of itself, but he was charged with other crimes related to it. There were some that were dropped, he claims. I don't know if they
I don't know why we aren't going against Amaranth's boyfriend.
Oh my
for
God.
all he did to her. Because that was terrible. Yeah, get Andrew Tate, whatever you want.
I don't think it's disputed that he had like a weird webcam business.
But we
going
also
on.
have to get Amaranth's boyfriend.
Yeah, Yeah.
Rhetorical content.
So you're saying it's sarcastic?
I mean, yeah.
I'm saying it was a very
Why not?
interesting talk show. And for you to sit here and say that that is my true core beliefs and that makes me a bad person is disingenuous.
Is it?
Of course not.
Was it sarcasm?
Absolutely. You should watch the show.
You were being sarcastic
You should-
when you said... Let me
you
just
should-
clarify,
you should
okay?
watch the show.
Let me clarify for the audience. You were being sarcastic when you said a woman's intimate parts belong to her male partner.
No.
You didn't believe that.
No, it's not that. It's that you have...
It's funny that like she was trying to clarify what he was saying and he didn't want her to, so he just kept interrupting her and being like, you should watch the show. Yeah, you should check that show out. You should watch it. It's a good show. I hate that shit. He knows what she's going to say and he doesn't want her to ask it. So he just tries to like overwhelm her with nonsense.
Yeah, don't watch the show. Watch Drunken Peasants instead.
Yeah.
I say consistently worse stuff than Andrew Tate every episode. It's great.
At length. And you should have, because the woman was saying, my man's car belongs to me because he's my man. And she was on OnlyFans. And then 20 minutes later, when she said she was on OnlyFans, I said, well, you're saying
Man, he suddenly has an eidetic memory about what happened on that fucking podcast and what he said in the past. Man.
She laughed. She laughed and she said, ha ha, yeah, that's probably true. If you watch the show,
Indoctrination.
The show, it will make sense. For you to come
Emotional
here doing
manipulation.
no research at all, and then say, I don't understand what I'm talking about.
How do you feel about that table?
I feel like there's something
weird.
in that ball, like it's holding like a juice or something. Like
I don't know.
If that was a keg, that might be pretty chill.
It doesn't fit with the weird dark decor of the rest of this room, and
I have been watching a lot of those videos analyzing police interrogation, and Andrew Tate is acting very sus. Definitely has a chopped up body somewhere.
He's got to have at least one chopped up body.
Isn't
right?
it weird though? Like this room, like everything's like black and gray, and then they're both wearing all black.
Yeah, I don't think
like what?
maybe with the BBC cameras it'll look better. But
I've seen screenshots of it, and it looks way better.
I can't stop looking at the Harambe made of dollar bills in the background.
I've got this piece of
Yeah, I have to admit that is distracting, especially since it's in center. I would imagine that picture of Andrew, what I imagine would be Andrew Tate sitting over there, would be what's in the center of the camera. But nope, it's just Harambe.
It's printed off. That's why you're saying the silly things you're saying. You should watch the show. Do some research.
Do you believe it?
I've already answered the question.
Not really.
Of course I have. Can we move on? I've answered the question.
Do you believe that a woman's intimate parts belong to her male partner?
Of course not. I've just answered the question.
Of course not, he says.
And does this woman believe that her man's car belongs to her? It's not a gendered argument.
Whoa. Her man's car does not belong to her. Passenger princess, maybe. But that car is in his name. Unless he's got tax problems. Then he can put it in her name.
I really think that it's genuinely sad that when the BBC has a chance to finally interview me at the end of all
Brooklyn in
this,
the pleb chat says he objectively is an unattractive man. Even worse without the beard. He's got like this weird recessed chin. He's got a small, mousy face. And I think that's from the malnutrition he had when he was younger. He'll talk about him and his brother eating like, I don't know, hunger meals or something. I can't remember what he called them. But it's like just straight up slop to survive off of. They have these malnutritioned bodies. Afterwards, you know, they got money and they started working out and they have all these muscles, but you can see the features, the original features like the mouse face never grew because they did go through a period of malnutrition. Very interesting if you study physiognomy. Is that what it's called?
that they don't come here with any kind of genuine openness to try and understand my influence over the world or the things I push or what I'm trying to teach the world or why I'm a good influence on the world, because I am a massively good influence. Instead, they come here with pieces of paper with printed out excerpts from 5-year-old podcasts taken out of context to attempt the same matrix attack on me, which has been attempted endlessly. Every single person in Legacy Media has already tried this, and it doesn't work. I really encourage you. I encourage you to read the comment section on YouTube.
Oh, the comment section. That'll clear everything up. Those are never a place with a bunch of bullshit.
If people would just read the YouTube comments, everything would be okay.
Everything there's true and honest. All right.
The same guys that pull this off of Reddit.
The same guys that are going around saying show Bobs and Vagine all the time.
Open Bobs.
Open Bobs and Vagine are like, yes, Andrew Tate, we love. He is best man. Yes, never rape none. Show Bob's Vagine every time.
By the way, before I forget, do you know when your fight is happening yet?
No, not yet.
But it is locked in this guy for sure. This
probably,
the fan.
It's looking like it.
Huh.
I haven't.
And it's for sure in it's in Nashville, Tennessee.
I think it's going to be in Nashville.
Because we got to figure out how this is going on, man. This short notice stuff, man. How can anyone plan for this?
Yeah, I'm just going to have to run in and beat them up and then leave.
It's ridiculous, like how little time they're giving you to train for something like this too. Like the most elite fighters on earth take like 3 to 6 months to train for a fight, and they're like working out constantly in between. It's just like fighting shape is like ultra shape for them.
Yeah,
you know,
it's just gonna prove how crazy I am for doing
Scotty's
this.
out of the loop here. What's going on?
So Billy is gonna fight in one of Keemstar's boxing events.
It looks like it. Yeah, we haven't signed anything officially, but that's where it's headed.
Yeah, like it's Keemstar's on board for doing it, and both parties are on board. So there you go. But it's only like a month and a half away or something. I wish it was happening in August. They should give you your birthday fight.
God damn.
I just gotta see when it's gonna be. It might be mid-July, I think.
Oh my God.
Yeah. God, hopefully my surgery ain't then. I'll love to go and see it, but we'll see.
I'm not gonna beat up everybody that shows up.
He's gonna it's gonna be
no.
it's gonna be a 30-man rumble.
Don't expect if you show up that I'll beat you up, guys. That's not how it's gonna work.
It's not battle cam boxing. It'll be legit. It'll be like in a real ring with a referee and an arena, just like the Boogie and Wings one.
Yeah, it'll be the prelims for the Misfits 008.
Yeah.
About these comments is because we've got the chief executive of Rape Crisis naming you individually as spreading a dangerous ideology of misogynistic rape culture.
Absolute.
It's the comments you make that are leading people to say things like
absolute
this.
Garbage.
National organizations who are saying that are blaming you for increasing levels of
Prada says, I'm not seeing the big deal for a man emotionally manipulating women, as if women don't do that all day, every day. Damn, women. You got called out, women.
I think it's like what he got them to do, which was like be his slaves, like basically like slave labor. If it comes out that he like took their passports and wouldn't let them leave too, that's another big legal issue, you know. And then I don't know, it is very odd. I had no idea such a thing existed where like a private person would find a bunch of women to go on OnlyFans for him. He was like digital pimping.
Oh, that happens a lot.
Which is weird because they can do it without a pimp. Like, it's online.
Well,
so
they could, but they probably wouldn't have the motivation to do it every damn day if someone wasn't.
Because, like,
if Amaranth's boyfriend wasn't forcing her online.
In the streets, they get them for like protection and that kind of stuff. But online, there's literally no need for a pimp involved. You know, it's
really about the motivation.
That are saying they are
Also, I think it's a lot of the times, right? Like, again, emotional manipulation. It's like, hey, all you have to do is just strip in front of this camera. It's no big deal. We just put it in OnlyFans. We'll make a bunch of money. Hey, come on. It's no big deal. It's nothing. So I think it's less that that they actually want like a pimp there for protection, and more that they wouldn't have done it if it weren't for him. And he's
all pimping is pretty much convincing a girl to do what they want you to do for money. It doesn't matter if it's on the street. Doesn't matter if it's an escort service, call out service. Doesn't matter if it's webcam. Doesn't matter if it's just a girlfriend experience where they're having you go and date some rich guy and taking the money that he pays you off of it. It happens in all different forms.
Increased incidents of girls being attacked, of female teachers being harassed.
If that was
by
true,
pupils,
because
of you and your teaching.
Well, that's absolute garbage. I have never, ever encouraged a student to attack a teacher, male or female, ever. I preach hard work, discipline. I'm an athlete. I preach anti-drug. I preach religion. I preach no alcohol. I preach no knife crime. Every single problem with modern society, I'm against. I'm teaching young men.
There's a lot of men that get emotionally manipulated by OnlyFans women all the time. They give all their money to these OnlyFans women. It happens. The difference here is Andrew Tate's going to court because these women are accusing him of emotional manipulation to get them to do these things. If you want to try and say that some OnlyFans girl tricked you into giving half your paycheck to her, I mean, I guess you could try and file a court case, but I don't know what laws you would get under there.
If me in various unspecified directions, then what's the incentive? Supporting the sweet boys? Watching a fun fight? Merriment and whimsy?
That's what I thought. You. No, thank you.
Exactly.
Unsubscribed.
Discipline, to be diligent,
and besides,
to
he's
listen.
not. Besides, the crime that he's doing isn't emotionally manipulating women into doing OnlyFans. The people who will come out to him says, "Oh yeah, by the way, he imprisoned us while doing that."
Yeah, that's the illegal part.
That's the crime,
right? Yeah.
To train.
So those OnlyFans girls also imprisoned those men and made them give up money in order for them to be escaped. Then yes, they should definitely be thrown in jail.
To be exactly like me, with no criminal record, never even yet charged in this 14-month Matrix investigation. And I'm saying that if men grew up like me, which are hardworking and diligent and emotional control and stuff.
No, it's because we're doing the real world investigation, not the Matrix one. That's already done.
England, which is a failing nation, which has knife crime going through the roof, violence going
Knife crime.
It's like England is a failing nation? I don't think so. I think it's one of the more wealthy nations on earth.
Knife crime is going through the roof.
Oh God, how will they deal with the knife crime?
Knife crime's pretty bad.
How can they possibly deal with the knife crime?
Knife crime is
Also,
pretty
they'd
miserable.
probably be doing better if it weren't for Brexit, but that's not.
Sure, they'd be doing better, but they're not like failing. They're not like collapsing or anything.
The roof, men's mental health going through the roof,
and he probably agreed with Brexit. Like that was like a conservative thing there.
Oh,
they
yeah,
they didn't want the foreigners coming in from the other EU countries, because that was the thing about like the EU. If your country was in the EU, you had to open your borders to any citizen of any of the other EU countries. And a bunch of people from poorer parts of Europe moved to the UK, and they didn't like that. And that's why that was the main reason they made Brexit happen, because they didn't want people from like Poland moving to the UK anymore.
they're going to all blame me because I appeared on the internet 1 year ago is
success.
disingenuous. It's disingenuous.
You
And
sell
also,
an image of financial success
correct.
with a Bugatti and a cigar, but it comes with a side order of misogyny.
How does having a Bugatti
With a side order of misogyny. Does that cost extra? How much for the misogyny?
Because it's all mixed together in what you
Now,
teach.
as far
You
as the
teach-
funnel deal, he gets you in there, and then as throwing in the free misogyny in the end too, you have to click on the link now, though, to get it for free.
I like that.
A woman, if a woman comes home and accuses you of cheating, you should hit her with a machete, shove her off.
Is that what I teach?
That's what you say.
No, if you actually watch the clip, it will be about the woman attacking me with a machete. As usual, you've not watched the video. Take it out
As
of context.
usual, that was in response to a woman attacking me with a machete.
Well, if someone's attacking you with a machete, I would say you have the right to hit them regardless of their gender.
With a machete?
Probably. Yeah,
Equal
if they're
yet
attacking
opposite
you.
machetes?
Yes. Yes, if someone's attacking you with a machete and you have a machete too, then yes.
If a woman,
attack them with
if
a machete.
a woman is cheating on you, she should already feel like a machete has been taken to her heart for ruining a good thing with a good man. You should never have to harm a woman if she's cheating on you. She should already be hurting inside for losing a good man.
Flipped it and attempted to attack me.
Besides, we all know you gotta have
Let me tell you
the
something, Lucy. I'm
knife,
sure you're
finger gloves, because that's the best thing against a machete.
I'm sure you're a fantastic person, but if I were to take everything you've ever said online and just take small excerpts out of context, I could make you look like a misogynist.
I'd be fucked.
I guarantee it. In fact, I might actually do that. And then you're going to sit here and say, oh shit, I'm a misogynist because my clips have been taken out of context.
No, because you can easily say, no, that is doctored. I'm not a misogynist. I do not believe those things. See? Super simple. You can edit anything. That will be the response. It's great.
Cheers, Greenie.
Yeah, he's freaking out.
Watch anything at length and understand it,
The
then
national
that's what's going to
police,
happen.
the national police chiefs.
He's very squirmy in his seat. Yeah. I would say most people on Earth would rather, if they had to choose between Romania and the UK, would probably choose the UK out of those two choices.
I don't know. The UK is a failing nation.
Yeah.
for violence against women.
Besides, isn't the UK Scotland, Ireland, or England? Isn't that the
UK is England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and Wales.
Long live the Welsh.
Scotland would be a nice
crisis,
place.
safer schools, they are all naming
Sure.
you as being behind an epidemic of misogyny, even amongst primary school children.
The idea that I made primary school children misogynistic because I own a nice car. Is that your argument?
It's the misogyny that comes along with it.
Oh, owning a nice car is misogynist.
No, it's the
Got it.
misogyny that comes along with it.
How does misogyny come along with owning a nice car?
Because you have an image of financial
I'm glad you're
success.
answering my questions now. We finally got the
You
dynamic.
have an image of
She's answering my questions as she should.
Excuse me.
As she should. She should answer these questions as she should.
Not misogynist, though. This woman should do what I say, not misogynist.
Well, he said from the beginning that he wanted to have a conversation with her. This wasn't him being interrogated, right? You saying she's welcome to come here and have a conversation.
It was more like her being interrogated by him.
She should answer his questions if they're here to have a conversation.
Financial success, but it comes along with attitudes towards women that are really problematic.
My attitudes towards women is that women should be protected and provided for, and I've said that at length. In fact, I've said that over 50 times online. You never mentioned
He's
it.
wagging the finger at her.
Yep. Not
say
mad.
that my girlfriend doesn't have to work unless she wants to. I take care of her. I die to protect a woman. I've talked about how I've stood up and faced a knife to protect a woman.
And in return, you want authority over her in the way you have over a child or a dog.
Absolutely not. I've said that women should be protected and provided for. And
in return, you want authority over her, because if you have responsibility for someone like a child or a dog, you say, you have authority over them.
If you want to go down this argument, we'll go down this nuanced argument. I said that if I have responsibility for her safety, I should have a degree of authority over her safety. Meaning, and let me explain my point. If I'm the one who has to fight and die to protect her, I'm the one who decides how we walk home. I'm the one who decides the route we take. Because it's unfair for her to say, I want to walk through the most dangerous neighborhood in the world, but you have to face the knives. That's what I've said.
If you were a real tough guy, you'd walk through the most dangerous neighborhood to defend her.
Face the knives.
I would face the knives. I'm that guy, though. I guess Andrew Tate just isn't that guy.
I'm going to sit here and pretend that I'm trying to treat women like dogs, which is garbage. Every single man in the world who loves his
Why
woman
would I treat women
understands-
like dogs? I fuck dogs.
Okay.
He has to protect her. And every single woman in the world likes the idea of a man who
Y'all
would
aren't
protect
doing your jobs.
We can't hear you while the video's playing. What did you say?
Oh no, I was just saying that if that wasn't archived, y'all aren't doing your jobs.
yeah, that's...
If you were to say to most women home right now, do you want your husband to protect you in a violent attack? They'd say, yeah, of course. Nothing I've said is misogynistic.
If you said to most women, would you want to lose authority in the relationship, to not be treated as a free and legal equal to your partner?
I didn't say that. I said I need to have authority over the route we walk home.
When you compare women and the authority over women that you believe you should have to having authority over a child or a dog, it's not the same, because a woman is a free, legal adult.
Correct.
You're equal.
Free, legal adult, my equal. But if I had a girlfriend and we were walking home late at night and I said, let's not walk down that area, it's a bad area, I have to protect you if anything happens, I want to take the long way. And she said, no, I have to walk this way, even though it's the most dangerous route, I must.
Then what?
Then I would say, you're welcome to, you could do it, you're a free, legal equal, but I'm not going to walk with you and protect you. I think that I should be able to decide the route, because I have an obligation. And my obligation as a man is to protect and provide for females. Everything I'm talking about is
What a stupid fucking argument to have
It's just
anyways.
a weird scenario to even put out there. Like, why was he even talking about that specific scenario?
Yeah.
Traditional gender roles, which 10 years ago, less than 10 years ago, would not be considered outlandish.
Why not just like call an Uber and not have to walk?
What if it's the most dangerous Uber?
Oh, okay.
Or even on this hypothetical, you could just simply say, you know what? I'm cool. Good luck, fam.
Be considered crazy, would not be considered dangerous or misogynistic. The world has changed, and a lot of people haven't changed with the world. Please understand, there's a lot of women at home watching this right now who like the idea of their man sticking up for them, protecting them, and providing for them. And just because the world has gone crazy and the legacy media has gone crazy, most people at home are still relatively sane. And these are the people who are going to write on the comments that Andrew isn't saying anything that's outlandish. It's the whole world believes these things. I don't know why you're doing this. I don't know why you're doing this. I told you. Same as twice. I told you.
So this is a cut for the BBC interview, but they're filming. Like,
it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm having a nice conversation with you, so I'm enjoying it. So it's no problem. It's been fun so far.
it's been fun so far.
We good?
Yes.
Tell me when.
Do you want to clap again?
Yes, no. We didn't stop, no?
I can do the clap. Now we good?
No, thank you.
If a man broke into your house, wouldn't you want your husband to protect you?
There's a difference between conservative values and emotional control, coercive control.
We're talking about protection now, and I'm saying if someone broke into your house, would you want your husband to protect you?
It's not about conservative values or protection. It's what you're demanding in return.
And see, it's not, what is it? Moving the target. In other words, he's trying to go back to something that he can defend, and he's trying to move the point or get scallop around, and she's preventing it, and it's fucking driving him crazy.
Yeah, it's moving the goalpost. He's moving the goalpost.
I'll give you this. I don't know who your husband is. I don't know if he would stand up and protect you and die for you, but I'll give you this. If someone broke into this house right now and was a homicidal maniac, I would expect me and the other men in this room to stand up and face them while you and the other women in this room could protect yourselves. I would actually believe the men should go and engage the attacker. I believe that. And even though I don't know you, and you've come into my house with a hostile agenda, and you've come here to try and make me look bad, I would still stand up to protect you. I would still stand up to protect you.
He's having the conversation that he wants to have, if you notice.
Yeah, I think it was Shark who put it this way. Damn it, I don't know. It like not Mon and Bailey, but the idea is that you make some terrible point, and then when you're challenged on it, you retreat back to a point that makes more sense and is better to defend. And so he makes that terrible point in saying that his point in that he has to have authority over women, and now he's retreating back to.
Well, did he say he had to have authority over women? She said he had to have authority over women, and he said he had to have the authority to choose the walk home if he's in protection of the woman. He's trying to talk about what he actually said.
Back to something that's more defendable.
Because her accusations are things he doesn't want to defend, right? He's trying to defend the position that she's accusing him of by accepting what he meant in those words, at least what he's willing to admit to now.
I believe that's my role as a man.
I am asking you about things that you have said that have caused major national organizations, including the police, to worry about you by name. That's what I'm asking you about.
It's not what I say.
It's not about whether you protect your partner or not. It's about what you have said that has caused such concern in the UK. And I want to put it to you that you don't really care about the harm it causes.
That's not true.
Because
that's not true.
Making controversial statements like this online has made you a lot of money.
Okay, so first thing, I genuinely am a force for good in the world. You may not understand that yet, but you will eventually. And I genuinely believe I'm acting under the instruction of God to do good things, and I want to make the world a better place. I genuinely believe my legacy is a good legacy, and I believe that eventually, when the legacy media catches up, they're going to understand I'm a good, positive influence. I'm not interested in damaging the world for money.
I mean, best case scenario, he won't get convicted of anything, but no one's going to be like, oh, we were wrong. Andrew Tate is a positive influence. No one's going to think that.
I think, in the end, it might be possible that he is in fact found not guilty, but it will be not guilty of imprisoning women. It won't be, for example, the crime that they were trying to investigate him for isn't the fact that, let's say hypothetically, he emotionally abused and manipulated women to be on cam for him and that would be considered something that, if that's true, let's say if that's true, that would be considered atrocious. That is a terrible thing to do. But if they find him innocent, it's not innocent of doing that. It would be innocent
He's kind of a dickhead. Like the real problem with Andrew Tate is that he spews these ideals, and maybe in application they work for him because he has money, he has a fighting history, he has certain things that work for him. But everybody watching, whether it be a 13-year-old kid or a 25-year-old fucking do-nothing nobody in his parents' basement, or a fucking 40-year-old guy that's tired of the way his life's going, he listens to Andrew Tate, and he doesn't become Andrew Tate. He's a carbon copy of an idea of what Andrew Tate spews in his best moment. In his best moment, when he's the God King, when everything he says is so strong, he can build himself up as this image. These guys are just carbon copies of what Andrew Tate believes he is. And that's the dangerous part, because all these guys are going to try to apply this shit to their life, and they're not going to understand step one into how to make it actually fucking work. And we're going to start seeing emotional manipulation and abuse come out in these situations with these guys, with their partners, because they don't know how to fucking operate as the top G or whatever the fuck he wants to brand himself
Top
as.
G.
The top G.
Yeah. Everyone like the stream, by the way. If you haven't given us a like, give us a like, please. It helps the stream out a lot, and we need the help. So like it up. How much more of we're doing all right.
A lot of people are pointing out that pimping isn't easy. But how many of them are pointing out that it sure is fun?
If I was interested in damaging the world for money, I could have sold drugs. Or I could make rap music and encourage everyone to stab each other like all the drill artists do.
He did make rap music, though. We did watch
You
it.
can make
It was pretty.
controversial statements online that attract a lot of followers, who you then direct to your website, they pay.
I could make
to
jokes.
learn how to be
Sure.
like you.
I mean, I could make jokes online. Who doesn't? I mean, I could make a joke
Are you
online.
saying that all the controversial things you've said are jokes?
No, I'm saying that these organizations and the BBC who are going to sit here and pretend that I am the face of damaging the youth is absolutely garbage. It's completely disingenuous.
It makes you
and the
money.
reason
I'm sorry, we have agreed to do an interview where you are going to ask questions that are going to give us the opportunity to clarify some things. These are very loaded questions, and so far, I'm sorry, I have arranged this and I'm talking right now. So, these are very loaded questions, and this is not what we discussed, and this is not the conversation that we agreed to.
We were very clear that the questions are...
Okay, so now the reporter and Tate's lawyers are having a back and forth.
You're sitting there and just accusing, we're not here to face...
Brooklyn in the pleb chat says, who hurt him? I think, his dad was like a chess champion, and he went through some weird poor stuff as a kid. Him and his brother had to go through being poor and work their way out of like some weird poverty. And there's got to be a built up entitlement when you have like a father figure that is a a competitive champion, probably put some sort of weird competition in their life. They probably had to reach goals in their life to feel valued. And this is just a continuation of trying to reach goals to feel value, have these Bugattis, these cars, these moments of value that makes him feel like he's a real man.
He lost a kickboxing match in 2012. He was knocked out by a knee. So that person hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. His first ever kickboxing match, he actually lost. It was he got knocked out by an overhand right to a guy named Scott Gibson in 2007.
This has all been discussed.
Ooh.
As has been provided. So if we can
Apparently, he just knocked the sense out of him.
He just seems like a dude that never worked through his trauma and is taking it out on others. I mean, he worked through his trauma in a way that works for his image. But yeah, there's definitely trauma has been his motivator. And what he does is not healthy. If it was healthy, he wouldn't feel the need to prove himself in a fucking interview to this woman of the BBC who's obviously trying to railroad him, and he's trying to prove it to her. You can see right there that's not healthy. And every unhealthy man that follows him is watching. It's like, yeah, you fucking tell her, waving their finger the same way he is, because they're not even men enough to be in on the conversation with the woman from the BBC. They have to cheer on from the sidelines.
Hear what Andrew's got to say about the fact that when you make controversial statements, it attracts people to follow you, and then you direct them to your website where they pay you a monthly fee to learn how to be like you. And so the more controversial statements you make, the more money you get.
The fact that that's the path you've outlined.
It's funny because Sneeko was doing the exact same thing.
Yeah,
the exact same grift were like, I'm very successful. Andrew Tate is my buddy. Buy my website where I teach you how to be like me.
All of the men that tell other men how to be men are literally just cam girls. They're literally just OnlyFans girls.
They have simps.
They're just collecting the men in a way that instead of showing them their pussy, they're showing them how to not be a pussy. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
But it's the same.
It was that other guy.
It's the same grift. It's
The other guy that freaked out on Sydney Watson. He was one of them too, right? What was that guy's name?
The bald guy, Jack something.
Jack something. Yeah, I can't remember his name right now.
He was a
him.
manosphere guy. All these guys that want to tell you how to be a man and how not to be taken advantage of women are guys taking advantage of you. Like, we understand there's a market for misguided men, misguided youth. And you either choose the OnlyFans route or the lonely man's route.
Well, it was weird that, like, that Jack guy, I can't remember his last name right now. Maybe someone will tell me. I'm seeing nothing but wrong ones. But he was telling men how to be manly, but then it turned out he was into, like, cuckoldry or something.
He's had a history of, like, weird porn stuff.
Jack Murphy.
Jack Murphy, yeah.
Yeah, he did, like, weird porn, didn't he?
Stuff, all types of, like, weird submissive stuff. But he built his little career telling men how to be men.
Jack Murphy.
And it all fell apart the second those men figured out that he wasn't the man they were looking up to. Which is weird because, like, a real man could be a cuck, could get dildos up his butt all day long. What makes you a real man is just owning your fucking shit and moving forward. But these guys can't do that. They have to pass the buck. They have to point fingers. They have to pretend to be the top G or whatever other branding they have. They have to pretend to be fresh or fit or whatever the fuck they think they are.
Wow, Andrew Tate is younger than I thought he was. He's 36. I don't know. I thought he was in his 40s.
My online university, and two, my...
Yeah, see, these guys just looking for a father. And like you said, it's instead of selling companionship or selling the ego experience, they're selling the father experience.
On the internet. The fact that you believe that's the path just shows you've done absolutely zero research. Genuinely zero research.
Because you don't immediately say what I say tells me you've done zero research. She's done research. She hasn't done the research that you want her to do.
Well, that's how it always is. Like, yeah, since you disagree with me, you obviously didn't do research. Look it up. You ever hear that? Like especially the people that thought COVID was caused by 5G towers and that kind of shit, or like flat earthers or whatever crackpot idea someone has. It's like, look it up. You didn't do research. It's like, no, we didn't read the bullshit that you read that made you believe it.
I love how many people right now have a seething hatred for rainbows. Like
I downloaded that video.
They're a fucking Care Bear villain.
Yes.
What's going on, 2023?
People who sign up for Hustlers University come to you through your social media.
Genuinely zero research.
How many of the people who sign up for Hustlers University come to you through your social media where you direct them to the website?
And Lucy, I encourage you to go out there, do some genuine research, watch my
Did you
videos.
answer my
Of
question?
course, watch my videos at length and truly understand what I'm doing.
How many of the people who sign up for Hustlers University at $49.99 a month come to you because they see your social media comments?
There's an online school called Hustlers University, which I don't own. I influence for, along with many other influencers, and they sign up for your website, which I don't own. And once again, that's nothing to do with me. And you're going to sit here and say that I made a joke. I made a joke online 4 years ago because a woman said that she owned her man's car, and you made a joke, and that means that you, because you have a Bugatti, are the most misogynistic, dangerous man in the world. This is going down a path of absolute insanity. It's not true. None of this is true. I don't hurt people. I don't harm people. I'm genuinely a positive influence.
You are renowned.
I'm renowned
for offensive and controversial.
That's not why I'm renowned. I'm actually.
That's not why. It's all good reasons. I'm renowned because good reasons.
I'm actually renowned for helping young men, because we talk about there's a men's mental health crisis, and we pretend to care that men are upset. But as soon as I discuss men's issues, it's misogynistic. It doesn't have to be gendered. Just because I believe
The second Marvel starts doing some male superheroes again, Andrew Tate's done for. The only reason he exists is because they focused on Miss Marvel.
You and men have rights, and men are allowed to think and believe and act a certain way that helps them internally. That doesn't mean it's anti-female. In fact, I believe it's actually pro-female. I think when a man is true to his influence and true to his essence, and he's good within himself, he's a positive influence in the world, and he's positive for the women around him.
So
just because I discuss men's issues, people say, "Oh,
these
you're
guys
anti-woman."
also
I'm not anti-woman.
worship
I love
the
women.
Joker, though.
Why are so many women saying that when their boyfriends start following you,
They're not.
they experience more control?
So many.
They experience
How many?
more abuse?
How many?
Enough.
Enough. Well, this is the first time I've heard of it. So, in fact,
One is too many.
of course.
One is too many.
In fact, I've seen thousands and thousands of comments and have endless emails from women praising the fact.
See, what I love about this too is that all you would have to do is just say, "I disagree with that." No, you should not control your girlfriend. You are equals, and you should have a mutual and loving relationship.
You should do whatever makes your relationship happy and healthy. If it's controlling her because that's what she needs or wants, then fucking hopefully you're the guy to do it. If not, go to a new relationship.
That their sons are listening to me,
Does it not
praising
worry
the fact that the
the
husband.
things I'm saying, does it not worry you?
It would worry. It would
You're not
worry.
concerned about
it.
your
It would worry me if I was genuinely damaging the world. But for you to sit here and say, Andrew, you become the most Googled man in the world. You have billions of views, and one is now saying that her husband is not the same man she wants him to be. When thousands and thousands of people are saying the opposite, well, then I would say
I've
that's.
presented you with case after case after case, with quote after quote after quote of people who are genuinely concerned about the impact you're having, and you brush it off as if it's nothing.
No, what you have done is come here with an agenda. You come here with loaded questions. You come here with things taken out of context. You come here with things that you don't understand are satirical, and then you're going to also sit and say that one woman said that her boyfriend
And yes,
changed when
Jeffrey
he watched
Brown,
one
in
of her
fact,
videos.
be gay and do crime.
And then I don't know what you expect me to say to that. That's
sarcastic and jokes.
No.
That's how you explain
No,
the comments you
no,
make.
for you to sit down
Would you
and
like to apologise for any of them?
for you to sit down, and for you to sit down. It's fine. No, it's fine. It's easy. For you to sit down and say that one woman said that her boyfriend watched an Andrew Tate video and now he won't do the dishes, or whatever your argument is, and that I'm somehow the worst, most dangerous man in the world because I have a car. It's just disingenuous, and I'm enjoying this interview very much because this shows the world. It's great. It shows the world the truth about the legacy media because they beg me for interviews. They beg me. You have been begging me for months, please.
It's weird how he says legacy media. It used to be mainstream media, but now they use the term legacy media.
We need to be relevant.
By the way, I turned up my mic a bit. It's not. Is it too loud?
Is someone saying that you're too loud?
No, I'm just asking because I just realized that I've been messing with settings since the last time I was on here, and it's like, oh wait, you mentioned something about that. And it's like, oh wait, shit, I got to turn that back up.
I think you sound just fine.
Yep.
Trying to paint a picture of me, which is completely and utterly false. I am a good, positive influence for the world. The things I teach men are stoicism, discipline, self-respect, hard work, obeying authority, listening to your fight coach, working hard in school, making as much money as possible in your job. If you actually watch the things I say, if you actually watch my comments about women, I've done long podcasts for hours long about females, talking about protecting for them, providing for them, how I believe a woman should be treated in a relationship. I've done all of this, but you don't watch any of it, and then you come here and ask me to answer questions I've answered at length thousands of times.
Since you came out of custody, there seems to have been a lot about your charity work.
Correct.
On your social
There's
media.
I've always done the charity work, but now I'm promoting it.
There seems to be a real shift.
Yeah.
I wonder what's behind that.
Well, I've always done the charity work. I've been doing the charity work for years.
So she's saying like he's doing this for like positive PR.
PR. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you do positive PR if you're fucking being investigated in jail?
I believe that it's my legacy to leave a positive influence on the world, and I've been doing charity work for over 5 years. Post my incarceration, my unfair, unjust incarceration, may I add. Post that, I've made it more clear the charity work I'm doing. But this is, once again, very interesting. I spend $25 million a year feeding children. Men, male children, and female children. In Turkey, in Syria, in Iran, and Iraq. I literally spend $25 million a year feeding children. And I'm still the worst man in the world because 4 years ago I made a sarcastic comment.
Because some people would look at that and say, okay, so before you got money from attracting people to your website by making controversial comments, but that might have got you into trouble. And so now you're looking for a new market.
How many women are allowed to suffer so $25 million worth of food can be fed? That's all if it's 4 or 5 women that have to suffer and it feeds $25 million worth of food out into the world, is it kind of on women then to take one for the team?
Followers who are attracted by a different sort of persona.
I've always done the charity work, so that is obviously incorrect. And I have proof that I've always done the charity work. So.
Yeah, you're right, Mephisto. He's going the John Cena route. Charity makes him a good person. See?
I
believe that if you have a lot of wealth, you should help people, and I'm helping people. I also think it's very, very interesting that you could not find another celebrity in the UK or anywhere else who's spending £25 million a year feeding children in war-torn countries. I'm doing that, and I've been doing that for a long time without even mentioning it. I never even said it. And now that I've said it, people are going to attack me for it and say that...
Yeah, but how many blind people have you cured sight for? You might feed a few dozen people, but you're not Mr. Beast, dude. You're not Mr. Beast yet.
Cured sight.
I mean, he literally gave people their sight back.
I can't go and get an Andrew Tate burger right now. I'll tell you that much. You ain't doing Mr. Beast numbers.
It was an Andrew Tate pizza, remember? It was the pizza.
That was the one that got him caught, right? It was the last meal.
The person in Sudan who's eating the meal, do you think they believe it's disingenuous? No, I think they feel pretty good that Andrew Tate fed them. And to sit here and say that I'm a bad person now because I'm manipulating charity, because I'm using charity, I'm just trying to do good in the world. That's all I've ever been.
You're the one that ended up bringing up charity. You could have just not done that.
I thought she brought up charity. Remember? She said, what about this new charity you've been doing since you've been released? She did bring it up.
Well, I am mistaken.
When women speak out against you online, disagree with what you say.
Brooklyn says, yeah, because he totally wouldn't do it for a tax write-off. It probably is a tax write-off. A lot of charities are set up for such purposes. For getting a payouts. Like every celebrity, every rich person gets into the charity business. It's pretty regular occurrence.
Yeah, and at this point, I kind of have to agree with my brother in this regard, what he posted in the general chat. I mean, if you want to look at it again, it's using money that he possibly got by exploiting women to launder reputation to say he's actually a good person. Yeah, that still doesn't stop the things that you've done. And that doesn't mean that it's suddenly forgiven what you've done.
Whatever he's done, he's going to court for now, and it will be figured out if he'll be forgiven or not. Like the court of public opinion is never going to forgive Andrew Tate, and a guilty charge against Andrew Tate is never going to keep his supporters from supporting him. He'll become a martyr or a political martyr or whatever to the people that love and support him. You got people in our chat like Prada coming in saying, I was one time cornered into buying a woman's OnlyFans, so I've been emotionally manipulated by women. It's like, yeah, we get it. You know, everybody wants to point a finger, be mad that there's emotional manipulation. The question is right here, right now, if Andrew Tate's going to see any jail time and whether or not he's going to be able to build this case against legacy media, because there are people out there that want to follow him. There are people out there that are lost and they're looking for their hero. And right now, Andrew Tate is their hero.
Some people are just followers by nature, too.
All people almost.
Yeah.
The majority of human beings are followers because of our tribal instincts. You followed a leader before to survive. Civilization has made it so survival is not necessary. It's just the status quo. You will survive in civilization for the most part. And now they have to find other people to follow because they've been following for centuries, thousands and thousands of years. They're going to kick that follower aspect. The weird shit is how they become cucks.
To your followers about how to behave in that situation.
Absolutely correct. I would love to do that. First things first, I've yet to see a female stand up and argue with me online. I don't ever see hardly any. Only women who message me agree with me. Secondly, I don't think that anybody who disagrees with me, male or female, should be trolled. I don't think they should be insulted or attacked. I think the ideas should be discussed openly and fairly and maturely. It doesn't matter if a man agrees with me or disagrees with me or a female. I don't think my followers should come along and attack her, and if my followers are doing that, I'm upset by that. But let's make a very important clarification. That's not my followers. That's the internet. If you were to log into any video game lobby, I don't play video games, and someone were to sit there and say something stupid, they would be trolled with similar comments. That's the unfortunate reality of the internet as a whole. That's nothing to do with me. But I encourage all of my followers to engage in open discourse and be fair.
Hell's Only says this is the stupid ages. People want to be stupid, so to belong. I think we have the freedom to be stupid in these ages. Prior to the last 30, 40 years, we've really kind of had a control over humanity, whether it was government, whether it was a king, whether it was, all these religions that didn't really give people the choice to be knowingly free to be stupid. It was pretty much just the stupid followed.
Brooklyn votes that we follow dogs from now on, and I already do that. Dogs basically control my entire existence.
Dogs sniff my ass, so I guess I'm the leader.
And talk in a way which is mature. There's no need to troll anybody, male or female.
But again, we haven't been to space, so I give Space Puppy that.
A couple of things. I wonder if it would be worth giving Andrew one more opportunity to consider whether or not he would like to apologise or give an indication of how he feels about the allegations that he has negatively influenced young people in the UK. And secondly, I think we should put on record that this interview is taking place in your house because you're under house arrest.
I invited you into my home to do this interview. It's like, oh, actually, you couldn't do it anywhere else.
For that, then we would have chosen another location, I'm sure. We would have negotiated that between us. So I think that's just worth it.
He did bring it up multiple times. I invited you in my home.
Oh, so you invited them into your home where she is sitting down in your room grilling you like this. Guys, that's pretty beta to me. That you're willing to do that in your own home. That's pretty beta.
In your own, what are you, a cuck? You want America to watch you get fucked by this woman? You cuck? Or BBC.
Some of us got to talk to Ben on Discord after currency in the account. Do you ever get on Discord?
I get on Discord once a year.
Once a year. Pretty soon, I'm going to start doing streams of Diablo 4, and anyone who's interested in playing Diablo 4, you should join the Discord, and if you have a copy of Diablo 4, like you have like an account, then we'll give you a special role because we're going to get a bunch of groups of people together to play Diablo 4. Just throwing that out there. if you're interested. Diablo 4 just launched today for everyone who had like the Ultimate Edition.
You said that you've invited us into your house.
Correct.
We're here because you're under house arrest.
Correct.
If you were free to leave, we would have negotiated a more neutral setting.
Don't you think, as the BBC, it would be very interesting to come here and discuss the fact that I was put in a dungeon for 92 days and then locked in house arrest without charge? Don't you think that's a far more interesting conversation than old...
I mean, you're the one that moved to Romania, my dude.
Yeah.
If you have a problem with the legal system.
He said it would have been better for him. He already admitted that, too.
Yeah. As a joke.
Interesting.
You're here under house arrest because there's an ongoing investigation into rape and human trafficking allegations against you.
Correct. I've been incarcerated without charge. And don't you think...
The rape allegation
it's been dropped.
has been incarcerated for.
Correct. So I'm incarcerated without charge, and I think that would be a far more interesting conversation than I guess Julian Assange is incarcerated.
Don't you think my narrative would be more interesting than your narrative? Wouldn't you rather follow my narrative?
Than that either. So if you actually wanted to do some genuine journalism and investigation, we could talk about the fact that an innocent man who is yet to be charged with a crime has had his liberty.
I wonder how this interview would have gone down if instead of him trying to dunk on her and respond, he was like, "Oh, those things I said." It was like a moment of like a few minutes in a live stream where I was trying to be provocative, and looking back on it, I don't believe that, and I don't think anybody should believe that. I think that the conversation we're having right now is more important than what I said to heal this. If he would have like not, "Oh, no, you're wrong, you're lying, you're lying." It's like, even if she is lying, even if she is misquoting you or whatever, like this back and forth of "I know you are, but what am I" shit is not going to get you anywhere on her side. If you were as good of an emotional manipulator as they want people to think you are, you would have fucking smooth criminaled this interview.
I think that would be a far more interesting angle than talking about me being the most dangerous man in the world because I own a car.
And this question about schools being very worried about your influence.
Yeah.
Boys in primary school, or boys as young as 11 are quoting you at school, attacking girls, refusing to respect female teachers.
Yeah.
Beat those
Would you
kids.
like to say anything about that?
I'd like to say a lot. First things first, as I've repeatedly said, and the only reason I keep repeating it is because I'm sure this interview will be edited. I am a positive force for the world, and I teach children discipline. I teach the world discipline, male or female, of any age. And a lot of women listen to me as well. 40% of the people who listen to me are actually female. Secondly, I do understand with my massive influence, and I am now the one of the most influential people on the planet, that I do have to be slightly more careful with things I say. I'm not going to disagree with that. The idea that I said something 5 years
With
ago...
my massive influence, I do agree that everything I say is going to be wah, 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 poor me, wah, wah, the Matrix hurt me, wah, wah, wah. Your influence is fucking rotten, dude. If you really want to be influential, what you should do is start acting fucking good in these moments instead of looking like a fucking defensive prick having your lawyers come in. There's got to be a better way to pull this fucking interview off than what you've done here, even with the BBC railroading you. But you only know a few lines in your human chess game. You're playing human chess, but you're so stuck on fucking Blitzkrieg. You're trying to Blitzkrieg the fucking thing. Nuance, motherfucker.
What do you mean, being slightly more careful?
I'll give you
It
an
goes
example.
against his NPC
Some of
script.
the jokes I made
So
4 or 5
immediately it
years
breaks
ago
the script.
on a YouTube channel that got 300 views, I would no longer make...
Like what?
Like the OnlyFans joke, the one you mentioned repeatedly. When she said, "My man's car is my car," and then she said she did OnlyFans, and I said, "What do you saw on OnlyFans?" She said, "My tits." And I said, "Well, those are your man's tits." As a joke, ha ha ha, everybody laughed. The fact that I could do that on a podcast 5 years ago and it only got 300 views, now I understand I'm the most influential man on the face of the planet.
He doesn't. Well, yeah, he probably does actually believe that. The most influential man on the face of the planet. It sounds like a wrestling promo.
Well, I mean,
it does.
He can make that claim because everybody's trying to ban him from platforms. So if he's not influential,
not the most influential.
If he's not,
I didn't say he's not influential.
Who's more influential to the point where he's getting banned?
I just don't think social media matters that much. Like
you're legacy minded. Then it is the future.
I just I don't think people wanting to ban him from social media makes him that influential. Like,
If they have to shut him up on social media, it's an argument that he is influential, right? Otherwise, why would they care about his influence? Why wouldn't they just let it exist? You start hearing about these kids going to school and quoting Andrew Tate when they're being little fucking dickhead idiots to the girls in their class.
a few anecdotal examples, though, right?
Which is
I
what
mean,
she is bringing up to him in the same conversation, right? She's using the same examples to say that his influence is far-reaching and toxic.
I would be more careful with certain things I say. That doesn't mean the things I originally said were genuinely out to harm people.
Do you really believe you're the most influential?
I would say, like, Donald Trump is still pretty influential, and he got banned everywhere, but he's still, like, more influential than Andrew Tate, right? He just started his own platform.
I mean,
and
are the young kids, the 13-year-old kids?
I don't care about the young kids.
Well, they're the future, right?
I mean,
they're going to be the
right
people
now.
that run the country.
What? And like, well, I mean, with the way things are now, they wouldn't be running the country until they're in their 60s and 70s if it stays consistent.
They're going to be the ones in the streets doing whatever they have to do to...
Someone also, Brooklyn also mentioned Kanye is the most influential over Tate. I would say Trump is over Tate, too.
Well, this really isn't a competition.
I'm not trying to compete with you. You told me to name some people.
Yeah, Kanye and Trump.
Yeah, and I could probably sit down and really think about it and do some research and probably name many more. I don't think he's even close to the most influential in the world. What about Vladimir Putin? Is he one of the most influential people in the world?
They might be more powerful than him.
You don't think he influences people?
Well, I think you have to understand what the influence is and see where the influence actually hits. So maybe before he got deplatformed, you could see his rise was pretty meteoric. Post deplatforming, it's still interesting because the news wants to report him all the time, but I don't think his influence is as strong as it was before that. But it is getting to a crowd of people who feel disenfranchised.
I would have to wonder what percentage of the global population even know who he is.
I think the problem is that his influence is in youth, right? And the thing with Andrew Tate that made him big isn't so much of him spreading it as much as it is because of how his platform, how his hustle kind of worked. He worked with network marketing a lot. And so it was really other people spreading clips and snippets and other things of him too. So him actually getting straight up banned from a platform, that ain't going to be the problem because his clips are going to live on and be perpetuated anyway, and the impact comes from the fact that it is so prevalent in young men. And sure, it might be possible that they outgrow him in 1 or 2 years, but
I think
how
we're
much
exaggerating
damage
his
he do
ability
during that time.
I think you guys are giving him too much credit.
Andrew Tate doesn't always drink beer, but when he does, he prefers Dos Equis.
Damn.
He's the most influential man
Damn.
in the world.
I'm the most Googled person on the planet.
Do you believe you're the most influential man on the face of the planet?
I'm the most Googled man on the planet.
I think we're done.
Thanks, Lucy. It was enjoyable. Nice to meet you.
It was enjoyable.
Now, I don't think Andrew Tate is this evil mastermind unless he manipulates her into his stable. If he manipulates her, then I'll have. He is a horrible person.
You can view her cam right now.
No,
It's fun. It's good.
no, he got her.
I enjoyed it.
No.
De-mic me. I don't want to damage anything.
De-mic me.
I wish you would have just left the mic on. We would have this crazy hot mic moment.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you. Thank you. Very nice to meet you. Goodbye. Very polite staff.
Very polite staff you have at the BBC. That's the staff of politeness.
They call the
Finally,
big
you get to
staff
see
the
Andrew's
BBC.
side, guys.
All right, so
Andrew's son,
Yeah, I know.
Andrew did all this, so now that he do this interview, he gonna say BBC does not want to air it in its entirety.
you sound like grade A under A right there.
I just, I don't know.
I'll be right
Oh,
back.
that's a reference I haven't thought about in like at least 2 to 3 years.
I feel like Andrew Tate is a boogeyman. People want him to be worse than he actually is. I think that he is more influential than he probably should be. It's a mixture of people just not having anything else to guide them, and they're choosing to follow this fucking guy because he's got cars and he talks with a bit of confidence. And that's all it takes these days to win over these fucking weak men. There's a ton of weak men out there, and they're going to either turn to OnlyFans or Andrew Tate. OnlyFans or this red pill fucking community.
Yeah, I'm about to say, he's really just a symptom of like, he's just yet another thing of like incel culture, for example, right? It's that these guys are angry. They want some type of control. They want answers, and these guys provide it for them. They give them a simple answer that it's all women, that it's all blank, that it's because of your genetics, you were born with incel chin or incel wrist. And that it's a super simple explanation, and it just helps them. It not only gives them that answer, but then on top of that, what makes it extra dangerous is that then it kind of gives them that hatred too. It just fuels it. It just makes it worse.
Fuck your rant, Skelly. My rant was better. You stepped on my fucking rant. I'll fucking kill you.
Oh my
No,
God.
I'm kidding. I love you.
No! I'm already dead.
Oh, that's true. Shit.
Yeah. All right. Let's check out. Biden fell today at some like Air Force graduation.
In love?
No. Look. He fell with it. It seemed like nothing even happened. Like he just fell. If I would have been there in person, I would be like, "Oh shit!" Like someone capped the president or something.
Do you think he was catching like a fly ball?
No,
Looks
he's
like
not at a baseball.
Is that
game.
not a? Oh, that's not a baseball hat he's wearing.
Oh, he's wearing a baseball hat, but he's at some sort of military graduation.
Is that AF? Is that America First? I think Mans was diving for a fly ball. He tripped over.
I think something there.
He tripped over his massive swinging dick.
Corn pop.
Wing, 10 shot. Mr. President, thank you for joining us today.
They just act like nothing happened.
President Biden falling hard in the polls, and his campaign is off to a rocky start. If only there was some.
So, like, this is the guy that they hired to be funny at Fox News.
Yeah, well, they also they did give Roseanne Barr a comedy special. That was nice.
Because no one else would give her one. She would have done Netflix because that's the big place that does all the comedy specials now. It used to be HBO, which still does some of them, but Netflix does a lot of them. And yeah, Roseanne would have gotten one if she hadn't been blacklisted.
Kind of visual metaphor.
What? How did he fall?
There's probably a cord there in front of that speaker.
That stand, there's that white cord over to the left.
Told him not to chew gum.
Man,
don't worry.
Could you imagine being so unfunny? He probably has a writing team too.
Guy is okay. The White House says Biden got sabotaged by a sandbag at the Air Force Academy.
He literally got sandbagged.
That sucks.
Graduation today. But the president has bigger problems to deal with, like his non-existent campaign strategy.
Mr. President, how's the re-election campaign going? Because we haven't seen you on the campaign trail yet. Not at an official.
You haven't?
You haven't?
He sounds so confused.
I wonder if he does have dementia or something.
I don't know. He should. I mean,
Yeah.
I think they would have tried to talk him out of announcing a re-election campaign, and whoever was going to run in his place would just be running right now. But I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking.
Biden is also avoiding debate.
Reagan at the end there, right? Didn't they have people signing for him? Like, he was pretty bad by the end. I think that if he did have something like that, I bring that up only because if they did have something like that, sometimes I didn't want to say shit. But
well, I mean, Reagan was like already reelected at that point.
Stages, and it's breaking the heart of that guy from Dawson's Creek, actor James Vanderbeek.
No.
Yes, that Vanderbeek, going viral with his criticism of Biden ducking the competition.
The Dawson?
I cannot get over the fact that the Democratic National
Remember in the movie Angus where he bullied the fat kid? You ever seen the movie Angus?
Of course I did.
Yeah, he was the
fucking prick.
Yeah, he was the antagonist.
That's why I refused to watch Dawson's Creek, even though Katie Holmes had fat.
Oh my God! Is saying there will not be a debate to decide the nominee for president.
I was always rooting for Pacey.
Kidding me?
They never do that. They never do that. The incumbent doesn't normally debate people. So I don't know what he's talking about. It's not a normal thing.
80-year-old man who, if he lives, will be the oldest sitting president in the history of the country.
I mean, he already is.
And if he doesn't live, has a vice president whose approval rating is worse than his. This guy is obviously declining mental faculties.
I loved him in Breaking Bad. And here's why Biden should get out there more. His White House stunned to learn that a majority of Americans think he's corrupt.
What do you say to the majority of Americans who believe that the president is himself corrupt? Wow.
Can I take that question?
The president had spoken to this.
All right, Jesse. We're going to just devote an entire segment to James Vandersloot.
What will you say? What do you say, Mr. President's press secretary, that but to the accusation that Mr. Biden is a poo-poo head?
He is.
Beak, but I want to talk to you about the fall. What do you make of the fall? What do you think James Vanderbeek thinks of the fall?
Let's talk more about the president falling, guys.
All right. Here's a weird thing. Trump recorded talking about classified document he kept after leaving the White House. So I guess this is like a secret recording. Let's see.
We've got new information that could spell more legal trouble for former President Donald Trump. This was confirmed by CBS and first reported by CNN. That Trump was apparently recorded talking about a classified document that he kept after leaving the White House. Here's a snapshot of what we've learned.
To do with childcare?
Two sources familiar with the matter tell us the audio tape is from a meeting 2 years ago at Trump's New Jersey golf club. You may remember what happened last year when the FBI raided Trump's Florida home, Mar-a-Lago, seizing dozens of papers marked classified. Two sources say the recording captures Trump acknowledging there are national security restrictions on the Pentagon memo that detailed potential plans to attack Iran. One source said Trump stated he should have declassified the record before leaving the White House, apparently contradicting recent claims at a CNN town hall last month.
I have no classified documents. And by the way, they become automatically declassified when I took them.
In his
He just makes shit up.
He's just got random declarations to attack Iran in his dresser.
Trump's former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, appears to describe this New Jersey meeting where Trump, quote, recalls a 4-page report that contained a plan to attack Iran, deploying massive numbers of troops.
He possessed a classified document, and he had the intent to possess that.
Scott Frederickson is a former federal prosecutor.
That's going to be great for relations with Iran. It's not gonna make them worse or anything.
What was his idea? Leaving the White House, he's just gonna have some stuff to sell to Iran to say, America.
I think he just wanted something to read while he sat on the toilet.
That Iranian attack papers are his shitter fucking read.
Yep.
Interesting.
Huge piece of evidence for the special counsel. It'll be highly influential in the decision of whether or not to indict the former president. And certainly, if there were to be a trial, this would be mighty powerful evidence, a tape recording of the president himself.
After this broke, Trump's lawyer, Jim Trusty, appeared on CNN.
Better show up on
Trusty
CNN.
Didn't dispute the facts of the reporting, but accused the Justice Department and FBI of leaking.
DOJ and FBI, or some combination of them, are engaging in a leak campaign. There is no doubt that he has the constitutional authority as commander-in-chief to declassify. It does not have to go through some sort of bureaucratic process to be declassified.
So right now, the special counsel's office is not commenting on this report, but there are indications that that investigation into Trump's handling of these classified documents could be in its final stages. Leslie.
Interesting. So there's damning evidence regarding the stolen documents. I don't know. Oh, dude, I'm mad about this. Like they're trying to raise the debt ceiling, and I guess so. The House passed it. It's going to the Senate.
The military has all sorts of plans for potential wars. That's not weird. It's weird from Trump to take that plan.
Right. I'm saying that it's made public. Like making that shit public is the fucked up part. So the bill to raise the debt ceiling, it cleared the House. It's going to the Senate. And if it passes in its current state and it doesn't get changed somehow in the Senate, it's going to make people have to start paying their student loans again. And like, there's a bunch of bullshit in it. There's like lax environmental regulations, like allowing a pipeline, like a natural gas pipeline, and all sorts of stuff that has nothing to do with anything. So let's see.
Yep. I know there was one post that apparently MTG, not the bad one, not okay, depending on how you want to say, sending Pinkertons over to someone's house, but tried to was thinking about putting in something about messing with pornography as a part of the debt ceiling bill too.
Well, I need to know more about this pornography debt. I might be in trouble.
Tens of millions of Americans have not had to make federal student loan payments for more than 3 years because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
But now that might be about to change. The Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget estimates that the pause has cost the U.S. $5 billion a month since the spring of 2020. Add that
$5 million a month?
And it totally.
Yeah, did she say billion? Because it says million here.
Sounded like she said billion.
It says million on the screen. But is it now when they say it costs it, does that just mean they're not making that in interest all the like per month anymore, or like what?
I'm not sure.
Why is it costing them money not to collect money? Is what I want to know. Is it just the money they would have otherwise collected? Because
I think that's it.
The government seems to still be running okay, so why not just erase this debt? Give everyone a fresh start. I mean, like the prices of everything. Not only are we dealing with inflation, but there's this shrinkflation where like not only are things more expensive, but you get less. Like they're smaller. It's ridiculous.
An estimated $195 billion since it began.
But this debt ceiling bill that we've been discussing, it's sitting in the Senate now, it guarantees the end of this payment pause. It passed the House by a comfortable margin of votes just last night. Joining us now to speak about what happens next
I'm sure
is
they
CBS
will
News
block all the
reporter Sarah
tax cuts too.
Weiss. Sarah, always great to see you. Explain for us this provision in the debt ceiling deal that would effectively revive these student loan repayments.
Yeah, so the debt ceiling deal includes some Republican priorities, which include ending the student loan payment pause, which has really been in effect since the beginning of the pandemic in 2020. The deal guarantees that the administration not extend the federal student loan pause again. And just keep in mind, this was actually first implemented under President Trump, but it had been extended 5 times since President Biden took office. Most recently...
Yeah, like a lot of this shit ended a year or two after COVID became this huge thing. And most of this shit is over now, but this is kind of, they've kept it going on, and they wanted to do the student loan forgiveness thing, but because there was like a cap on it, and it wasn't just for everyone, it like super rich people weren't eligible for it. A few people sued over that, so now it's like locked up in court. So there was a whole bunch of people who were they were about to have their debt completely erased because it was like $10,000. and there were some people who only had that much left. Not to mention, like, even if you have like 30, 40, 50, to knock $10,000 off of that lowers all the interest and everything on it. It's just, it's fucked up. It's very strange.
In November. The deal says that the pause would end 60 days after June 30th, and the Education Secretary cannot extend it. What is interesting here is even though this is stated in the deal, the Biden administration had previously said in its most recent announcement of extending the pause that it would end 60 days after June 30th or sometime this summer anyway. So this really just locks that in, preventing them from taking another route.
So it was going to end anyway?
Well, it's always, no, it's been set to end multiple times and they just keep extending it. So who's to say that they wouldn't have just extended it again? But this puts a hard stop on it. Like, there's been multiple news stories throughout the year where they're like, oh, the student loan pause is about to expire, and then Biden just extends it again.
Sarah, I'm wondering if people have been preparing for this pause to end and are ready now to start making their payments. And for any of our viewers who are now scared hearing this news, are there going to be supports from the federal government moving forward?
So
we're going to find a lot more people defaulting on their loans when this starts again, because there's a lot of people that are not in the same financial position they were 3 years ago. For multiple different reasons.
There are a lot of questions right now about what will actually happen with student loans and student loan payments. And that is because we're waiting on the Supreme Court to rule on President Biden's student loan forgiveness. He's actually trying to provide up to $10,000 in student loan forgiveness for borrowers who are eligible, and another up to $20,000 for Pell Grant recipients. I think it's interesting here because while this has received pushback, that whole deal could cost about $400 billion. But the administration actually announced the end of the payment pause to coincide with that forgiveness program being able to implement that in the end of June. Or if it ends up being blocked in terms of legal challenges, 60 days after June 30th.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I'm saying that's not okay. Butcher in the chat. Yeah, what a weird comment. Yeah, no one defaults on loans they didn't have to pay. My point was that there were many people who were able to pay those loans 3 years ago that are not going to be able to pay them this time when they start them up again, because many people are not in the same financial secure position that they were 3 years ago. And now when it's coming back, we're going to see more of these defaults, people who could have paid them before that can't pay them now. Does that clarify it?
Yep.
Let's check out this thing. I was just here a couple days ago.
Where the rainbow
I'm just
is?
wondering what the heck is in our water supply? What the heck is in our oxygen supply?
People treat this fountain like it's the beach. Like they roll out like towels and shit and lay in it. And I've ran through this water before a couple times, through the rainbow water. But this woman thinks she was saying something like 50 years ago there was no rainbow when the sun hit water, which is insane. Aren't there rainbow stories in the Bible?
You know what, you know what they put in the water? Light.
Yeah.
I'm going to. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to leak these plants. It's actually evil scaly magic.
Oh,
as you can see behind me, it's clear. Evil scaly magic is behind the rainbow inside the water.
I know that was it.
That create a rainbow effect in a sprinkler. What is oozing out of our ground that allows this type of effect to happen?
It's obviously semen, Karen.
Not just around our sun and our moon
Gay semen,
anymore.
Karen.
Everywhere we look, the visible spectrum is rainbows. This cannot be natural.
Rainbows cannot be natural.
It wasn't something that happened 20 years ago,
Oh, yes, it was.
but now it's happening now.
I remember when rainbows first started. It was when we legalized gay marriage in the United States. Prior to that, there was no such thing as rainbows. Kids would draw them with unicorns on their Lisa Frank posters, but we all know unicorns and rainbows never existed before gay sex was legalized.
We as a nation have
Exactly.
got to ask ourselves, what the hell is going on? What is oozing out of our ground?
What is oozing out of her? Check out this video.
It's gay semen, Karen.
You might recognize the person in this next video.
Okay, people, I'm about to do something kind of crazy, but I seen it on TikTok. Sour cream, Reese's peanut butter cup. I can only find.
Get this voice that he puts on. Reese's peanut butter cup.
That's how Pimp Muck talks.
The big jumbo thick mugs, but I don't think I want to do this, but plop it on
Godspeed.
there. Look at that sour cream on that mug right there, boy. Look at that sour cream on that mug. This some Caucasian shit right here. Let me
Do it with mayonnaise, pussy.
Oh.
He likes it. You can tell.
Seriously, dog, this shouldn't work. That shouldn't work. But it does. I mean, I just want to eat it every day, but it ain't bad. It ain't bad.
Sour cream glazed donuts are a thing. Sour cream goes well with sweet. It always has. The salty of the peanut butter, the chocolate, it's going to mesh just fine. It's obviously, do it with mayonnaise.
So
then you're a real man.
So next week, Billy's going to be out of town, so he won't be here on Tuesday or Thursday. But on Tuesday, I have Hannibal, Monty, and King Beard X, Pim Monk, filling in. And then on Thursday, I have Scoot and Adam filling in.
Big money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm almost sad that I
Nice.
won't be here for those episodes. I do believe that Scott and Adam will be episode 1200.
Huh.
1200.
Yeah.
12. That's a dozen hundreds.
Beer, sour cream, peanut butter cup. Get you some.
Get you some. So we got like 5 minutes left, and then we're gonna go do some Patreon stuff. I'm doing more Patreon stuff in hopes that you guys will sign up, because the Patreon has started falling on hard times, and it would be very beneficial. So we're gonna put some content in there for you guys to make it more appealing. So I got you can go here, patreon.com/DP. The $10 level will get you all of the post shows. So we do post shows, which we're going to do multiple of them, like 2 of them a week. And that's on the $10 level, and probably some other content that I'm going to start throwing up there. And then the $5 level gets you 2 private shows, which we're going to do kind of towards the end of this month. We're going to do this month, we're going to do them on the 16th and the 23rd of June. The latest actual Mania will be on the 23rd, and then we're going to figure out what we're doing for the 16th. So, yeah, there's a lot of content coming out on the Patreon that you should check out. And yeah, tonight we're going to talk about this interview that Turkey Tom and Boogie did. It's weird. It's hard to tell who's doing the interviewing. It's almost like they're interviewing each other at the same time.
Well, I think Boogie wanted Turkey Tom to interview him and ask him questions. So I think that was the point of reaching out to Turkey Tom.
It seemed like Turkey Tom didn't know what the point was at first, but then it still turned out okay. Yeah, we could really use your Patreon support. $5 level will get you 2 shows. $10 level will get you way more if you want to sign up.
$10 is where your arthritis should settle, at the $10 level. Your creaking, aching bones should settle at the $10 Patreon level, and or the $100 level if you're wanting to come on and join us like Skelly did tonight.
Yes, it's a blast. They're always nice. They'll work with you. It's fun.
And we do gay crimes.
Yep.
It's fun. Does Boogie still have his gun?
I have no idea.
I think his roommate.
I don't think that was his gun, right? It was like someone
I'm not
else's.
Sure exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine he wouldn't. I mean,
it's Arkansas. Everybody's got somebody else's gun in their hand.
Well, I thought it was in Florida. I thought he lived in Florida.
With your left hand free.
He lives in Arkansas.
And your right's in grip. Happy Gay Month to all my gay boys and girls that are gay and every other flavor of queer. We love you all so much. And all you straight people, we also love you. And guess what, bigots? We also love you. You sick fucks. Chill out a little bit. Where them donuts at? Where them donuts?
Yeah, we have an uphill climb, it seems, for Saturday's show.
We're going to have to do drugs.
Yeah.
Mind control drugs with our audience and emotionally manipulate them into doing cam work for us.
Just remember, don't take the passports. Then you're cool.
I don't think you get more bigots by loving bigots. I think you get less bigots by loving bigots, because the second they get acceptance and love, their bigotry starts to melt. I think that bigots get cornered all the time into being bigger bigots. Because nobody looks at them as human beings, so they become vile versions of the monsters that they tend to be on the inside, and it perpetuates their bigotry. And I think the second that you look that fucking Klansman in the eye and tell him he's only a fucking idiot, but he's not a malicious, vicious idiot, that he starts to change his fucking mind and give Daryl Davis his Klan robe. Sometimes that happens.
Oh, remember the paradox of tolerance.
But that being said, some bigots just have to be spanked hard in a very unsexy way. All I want from you is understanding. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Understanding is all I need.
Amazing. So, everyone, you should follow us over to Patreon right now. Check it out.
Do it.
Are you going to come along, Skelly, or no?
I really wish I could, but I got work tomorrow.
All right.
Get some sleep. Have a good night. Everybody, come on over. Patrons $10 and above. Come on over and watch with us. And everybody else, we'll see you back again Saturday.
Big bigots.
Please.
Blubbergumptious, even.
Blubbergumptious, big bigots. Blubbergumptious. We want big dick energy, not bigot dickhead energy.
See you over there. Goodbye.
Hey, Alex coming through with the blue spew.
Well, thank you for getting us there. Okay. Before we end, are we gonna get like one last tip train or something? Because I don't want to prohibit any possible tippage from coming in, because these 7-hour Saturday shows eat away at you after a little while. So if anyone wants to hit us up with one last tip train before we leave, feel free to do so. Feel free to do so really quick.
You got to leave them wanting s'mores.
Remember, you're helping pay for valuable time that Ben could be using playing Diablo 4 right now.
I bought Diablo 4 like 4 or 5 months ago.
Have an ending show Fiverr.
Thank you, Egghead. Thank you. Also, during the post show, we might touch on actual Mania coming up in a little bit. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah. Let's keep it rolling. We're going over there. What level? I'm actually not playing a necromancer right now. I'm playing a sorcerer, and I think he's only like level 7 or 8 because I didn't have time to play because I gotta do this stuff. So follow us over there, and we're gonna react to this video. It should be interesting. See you all there.